Now, when you think of Real in Spain, you think of Real Madrid or maybe even Real Betis. But how about Real Sociedad? They currently sit 10th in the La Liga, nearly to the Premier League. They sit 10th in La Liga on 38 points. They did just get knocked out to the Europa League to Manchester United. They did just lose the Copa del Rey final, or semifinal, I should say, getting knocked out by Real Madrid, the Real rivals there. They have finished in 10th, most likely to finish in 10th around there. They could get up to currently 7th at the moment with 29 games have played. Their highest finish was in 4th in 2023 when they finished with 71 points. They finished last season with 6, skipping out on Champions League football, so no Champions League football for them. The last time they won the entirety of La Liga was all the way back in 1981 and 1982, that season where they won the La Liga. They've been runner-ups more recently in 2002, 2003, but other than that, they haven't been there. And in fact, they more recently won La Liga 2, the second division here in 2009 and 2010 to get back up into La Liga, where they've been ever since there. So yeah, there is some good information there about Real Sociedad. They currently sit in 10th. They have been knocked out of pretty much every single competition that they can fight for this season. We are going to jump in here, rebuild them, get them back to Champions League, and get them some Champions League glory. They've never won the Champions League as well, so let's go and get them a Champions League trophy. And here is the default starting lineup at the moment. Here is Oyarzabal at striker, Gomez at left mid, but we also have the likes of Baron Sexa, who can also play there. Mendes Zubamendi, who's on the rumor to be moving to either Real Madrid or Arsenal, one of the two. He will more than likely leave Real Sociedad for that 60 million release clause. We have Lukas Susic in the midfield as well, a young little prospect. We have Yakufuso Kubo, probably one of their, if not their better players here. Odriozola definitely needs improving on, but we do have a Traore in the midfield. Zubielda can also play there. Aguard, who's on loan from West Ham United. Lopez, who is a current left back at the moment, but Munoz can also play there as well. He's a high overall. And then Alex Romero, who is getting of age, 29 years of age here, that we could probably look to improve on come season 3, if we are having a season 3, what I fully expect us to have a season 3. Other than that, the rest of this squad is just not that great. So if anything for this season is trying to improve our decent bench there, because our bench is horrible. Let's go and take a look at our youth academy, see if we can get any high prospects in here. And the answer is not really anybody that's going to be useful in the long term. So we'll more than likely let these guys just deteriorate in there. As far as our money goes, we have 15 million to spend, so we can't even spend that much anymore this season. So it's looking like loan deals, if anything. So let's see what we can do. Let's see if I can pull some magic off and maybe get this team top half table. And we start off by signing a free agent that has just been added back to the game as of one of the latest squad updates. Memphis Depay, who's currently playing down in Brazil. He's been added back to the squad files here since playing for Netherlands, I believe. That's why he got added back to the squad. He is now part of Real Sociedad's squad, coming in as a free agent. 82 overall at the age of 30. Can play striker and left winger. We will more than likely have him as a backup striker in all honesty, or maybe even a winger. We're not quite sure yet, but Memphis Depay, welcome to Spain, welcome to Real Sociedad, welcome back to Spain technically, because you've been in Spain before, but welcome back. And so alongside Memphis Depay, we bring in 3 more free agents for this first season. We bring in Salim Said, who was 78 overall on a free agent market as a just kind of youth-generated player. One of the couple that happens in these tournaments, or in the game when you first start. You always get 1 or 2 couple youth-generated players in the free agent markets that are normally 75 max in all honesty. So we get a little breakaway through here with Said. He's 78 overall. We bring in an American, Alejandro Zendejas, who will be a backup right midfielder. We also bring in Alexis Vegas, coming from a free agent market as well. The Mexican will come in as a backup left midfielder for or other left midfielders in there. So that sets up the team like this for at least this first season, or until something happens. Oyarzabal is the striker. Baron Sexa is currently the starting left midfielder, but Gomez can also play there. And in fact, Gomez was probably going to start anyway, so might as well just have him there. Mendes, Zubamendi, and Zukic in the midfield. It's going to stay like that because this midfield is good enough, at least for the time moment. Kubo, right mid, Traore, Zubiota. The back four is not touched. Zubiota and Said are also going to fight for that starting spot, and then Alex Romero in goalkeeper. But on the bench, we have Memphis Depay, Zendejas, Vega, Zacharian, Barnes Texta. We have Oyalasi here, Pacheco, Said, and Lopez all on the bench. We'll see where this team is at in January. I'm going to make sure that nobody can get release clause. So I'm going to make sure anybody that does have a release clause, I go ahead and contract negotiate them and not have a release clause. I know in Spain you have to have a release clause. But in the game, I don't want that to happen when I'm simulating through a transfer window like the rest of this transfer window and then have them gone, especially my goalkeeper in all honesty. So I'll see y'all at the end of the season where hopefully we are top half of the table, top 5 in all honesty. We end the first season in 3rd, only 6 points behind Real Madrid, who go ahead and win the league, 3 points behind Barcelona. We are in the Champions League in our first season. Well, technically it will be our 2nd season. But after the first full season of the rebuild, we are in the Champions League. The top goal scorer is Mikel Oyarzabal, who scored 30 goals. Alexis Vega, who played all 38 La Liga games. He's been the starter. I was surprised to actually see that he was a starting. He was 77 overall when I forced him to left mid. So I figured it would be Gomez who played. It wasn't. It was Vega. 23 goals, 10 assists. Brias Mendes scored 13 goals. Kuba scored 10 goals. He's also up to 84 overall. Zubiota scored 4 goals. Zubamendi scored 4 goals. He's up to 84. Memphis Depay scored 3 goals. I didn't really expect too much out of him, in all honesty, to be completely honest, because he is a bench player. And in fact, I actually did kind of think that him and Oyarzabal would actually split more games because they were both the same rating, but I guess I'm kind of happy Oyarzabal played more games. And then Zendejas scored 15, or played 15 games, scoring 2 goals and 2 assists in there as well. We are going to lose our guard for the next season, but that is fine. We can always look for another center back. Hopefully we have a couple more millions to spend now since we finish in 3rd and have Champions League football. We'll see, though. Let's go and get into season number 2. We're going to start by bringing in free agent Boban Novic from the Croatia, a.k.a. Luka Modric, regen or pre-gen. And considering we're only in Season 2, I would have to say this is a pre-gen. Actually, no, if it's a pre-gen, I don't think pre-gens are free agents. So I think this is a regen, possibly. I don't know, but he's coming to the squad, 78 overall. He will be our new number 1. Sukic, I'm going to look to loan out. And then this guy, he's obviously going to grow into an absolute demon. Welcome to the club, Novak. And we go ahead and bring in Krejci or Krejkai. I don't know how to actually pronounce this guy's name, but 81 overall center back coming in for 37 million. That's going to put a hinder into our actual transfer plans for the 2nd season, but he comes into the squad. We needed another center back to replace Ødegaard, who went back over to West Ham after his loan spell. This guy, he's just on par with him, if not maybe slightly a little better than the West Ham defender. Welcome to the club. Welcome to Real Sociedad. We'll have roughly around 20 to 25 million left to do at the current moment to do any transfer business, and that'll maybe be 1 player max, if. And we say hello to our new number 1 left back coming over from Real Madrid. We go ahead and weaken their squad while making our squad that much stronger. Fran Garcia coming into the squad for 22 million plus a 25% selling clause, which is absurd because I couldn't get them down to a 27 million 25% release clause about a week ago on the game here. But finally, a week later, we go ahead and get him down to 21 or 22 million on the first time of asking plus a 25% selling clause. So Frank Garcia comes in for the relatively cheap, under his market value. Welcome to Real Sociedad. When you really need a right back now, but don't really have the money to bring one in at the moment. We needed a right back, and we needed a right back on cheap, so we looked for people's contract expiring, and we found this decent one that is very injury-prone IRL, but he's a decent little right back on the game. Tomiyasu from Arsenal, the Japanese right back, who honestly sold us a dream, but has become very injury prone. Don't even think he's played a game at all this season in this Arsenal first team squad. I really don't. I can't remember the last time he played for us in all totality. But now he's coming over to join right hand side, and he'll be partnered along Kubo on the right hand side. So both Japanese representation here in the Real Sociedad squad, coming in for 12.4 million. Welcome to the squad. That is our team complete for our first season in Champions League football. And so here's how the squad looks like. The best player for each position: Romero in net, Tomiyasu, Zubiota, and Kretsch in the in the back line alongside Fran Garcia, new signing Fran Garcia. Zubamendi, Novak, and Mendes, with Sukic getting loaned out to Dortmund for the season. Kubo on the right, Gomez on the left, but we also have Vega and Berra that can also play there, and then Oyarzabal as our striker. Let's go and see our Champions League matchups, and then we'll get into the end of January where we'll go ahead and see where we stand in the Champions League. And here's our Champions League opponents for the first league phase. We start off against Fenerbahce, and then we play Ferencvaros. We're going to go ahead and play Bayer Leverkusen in October. In November, we have Celtic and Arsenal in November. December, we have Manchester City. It's just getting tougher and tougher. And then in January, we get a couple easier games against AEK Athens and then Michelin. So I will see y'all on February 1st, where hopefully we are in at least the top 24 of the Champions League. That way we can stay in the next round. Best scenario is top 8, so we skip out in preliminary and skip out in the playoffs. And halfway through the season, we are currently sitting in 4th, but y'all do not care about that. Y'all care about Champions League. That's all I care about here. In the league, we finished 14th after the 8 games, so we do go ahead and finish in the playoffs of the Champions League, which is perfectly fine. Some of the teams that finished in the top 8 are actually the top 8 teams: AC Milan, Man City, a team we played, FC Barcelona, Fenerbahce, the first team we played, they finished in 4th. Bayern Munich, Leverkusen, another team we played. So 3 of the top 8 are the teams that we played with in the league phase: PSG and Spurs. Borussia Dortmund are the first team out. Real Sociedad, we skipped out on by 3 points, by 1 win. Real Madrid sitting 13, so Real Madrid also in there. Arsenal is in there. Inter Milan is escaping the barrel. And Benfica and Sporting are both first teams out for Portugal. And so here are the playoff rounds. Real Madrid get the easiest one of the lot. Wow, they get that team. I'm not even trying to pronounce it again. Juventus versus Real Sociedad. Inter Milan versus AC Milan, Inter Milan versus Man United, Arsenal versus Napoli. On the other side, Celtic, Dortmund, Leipzig, Porto, AS Monaco, Atletico Madrid, Ajax, Lyon. We don't really care about this side. This side is where the juice is, at least the bottom 3 matchups: Juventus, Sociedad, Inter, Man United, Arsenal, Napoli. Let's go and get into it. And so the first leg here of the Champions League playoff, it's a 1-1 draw. Kubo and Pedro Gonçalves both scoring for either side of each club. Let's go and get there. Second leg here against Juventus, and we went on penalties. 2-2 on the day, 3-3 on aggregate. Real Sociedad win on penalties, 6-5, where Timothy Weah, the American, missed there, and then Baran goes ahead and jumps in and scores there. Why is the center back taking a third penalty? That's brave from us. Well, we are into the next round by the skin of our teeth here in the Champions League, so that is interesting. Is all the other matchups done? The second half isn't, but the obviously the good side is. Real Madrid, of course, take care of business there, winning 4-1 and then 7-2 in aggregate. We obviously move on. Inter Milan with a 5-3 win, winning 6-4 on aggregate, and then Arsenal taking care of business, 1-0 win to go ahead and win 4-3 on aggregate. So some good teams coming into the next round of the Champions League. Let's see who we get in the round of 16. The round of 16 is here. We have some matchups here. FC Porto versus Tottenham. Real Sociedad versus Manchester City. So we get Manchester City. Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. They finally get a hard game. Dortmund versus Fenerbahce, Inter Milan versus Barcelona, Atletico Madrid versus Leverkusen, Lyon versus AC Milan, and Arsenal versus Paris Saint-Germain. So let's go and jump to here. First leg against Real Sociedad. No Kubo, he's out with a red card suspension, and we suffer from it. A 3-1 loss. In second leg, we're down 3-1. I don't have hopes, and there it is, another 3-1 loss. So we are out 6-2 on aggregate. We are out of the Champions League. We just got to make sure we can stay focused and win the, well, not win the league, but at least finish in the top 4. As far as the other matchups goes, Spurs win. Obviously, Man City go through. Bayern Munich go through against Real Madrid. Fenerbahce go against Dortmund. Barcelona are through. Atletico Madrid are through on penalties. AC Milan 7-0 against Lyon. And then PSG win 4-3 on aggregate against Arsenal. I will see y'all at the end of the season where we actually currently sit second in the league. So we at least decent for the top 4, top 5. See you at the end of the season where we should be top 4, top 5 in Champions League football again. We finished the season in second with 26 wins out of 38 games. Only losing 5 games, just draws our match there. Let's go ahead and see quickly who the top performer was of the squad here. Top performer, Romero's up to 87 overall, but he is 31 years old. Oyarzabal, 30 goals in there. Wow. 30 goals. That is great to see. Let's go ahead and jump into season number 3 where hopefully we can get some Champions League glory. We go ahead and spend our load here at the start of Season 3 by bringing in a midfielder, Matt O'Reilly, coming in from Brighton. He will pair along in the midfield trio along Zubimendi, either Novak or Mendes, one of the two there. I believe he'll play over Novak, unfortunately. But Matt O'Reilly, welcome to Real Sociedad. Welcome to hopefully a Champions League winning squad. Here's our Champions League matchups for season number 3, season 2 in the Champions League. We start off a little bit easier with Frankfurt and then Slavia Praha. We do play Manchester City again and then Rangers, so we play the other Scottish team. And then Inter Milan, we do play Besiktas, and then in January we'll wrap it off with a harder fixture up where we have Liverpool and FC Porto. It's going to be a tough little fixture list there. Let's see if we can finish into the top 8. I'll see y'all on February 1st. And halfway through the season, after the 8 league games, we finish in 8th. We are the last team in the top 8. We get to skip all that playoff bullcrarchy. Round of 16, here we come. But here are some of the playoff teams in there. Liverpool, AC Milan, Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, Juventus. That's stacked in itself. AEK Athens, Borussia Dortmund, AS Monaco, Barcelona, Valencia, Chelsea, Frankfurt, Feyenoord, FCSB, and then Lyon. The first team out is Fenerbahce. They went from top 8 last season to not even getting in the playoffs this season. Most shockingly team out again is Benfica in FC Porto. Benfica had a lackluster again. Besiktas finishing dead last. I did not expect that. And then Rangers also pretty much finishing dead last as well. Well then, we are into the round of 16, so we get to skip all this. I'll see y'all in March. And in the round of 16, we have the matchups here. Man City, Frankfurt, PSG, Bayern Munich, Roma, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, Leverkusen, AS Monaco, Leipzig. We get Juventus again. We got Juventus in the playoff for the last time. Now we get them in the round of 16. And then Valencia versus Inter Milan. Let's go ahead and jump into here, see what the teams can do, and see a 0-0 draw. Okay then, well, all to play for in the second leg, quite literally. Second leg here, quite literally all to play for. And what I did just notice is Kubo is gone. Kubo is gone. His release clause got triggered in January. Interesting. All right, well, no Kubo. I didn't even realize that. A 1-0 win, though, and O'Reilly scores it. We're into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. No Kubo, though. That is... okay. Quarterfinals, it's Inter Milan versus Man City. We get Liverpool in the quarterfinals. Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid. Leipzig versus PSG. First leg here against Liverpool. No Zubimendi. That's going to be a massive loss for the first leg. Never mind, it won't be. A 3-1 win. Oyarzabal, Brias, Mendes, and O'Reilly all on the score sheet. Okay, then. Well, we're making some motion. Second leg, we have a little bit of wiggle room. second leg here. Zubimendi back in the starting lineup, and we win 2-1 on the day, 5-2 on aggregate. Oyarzabal with the brace. He missed an opportunity in 88 to score his hat-trick, missing the penalty there. But we are into the semifinals of the Champions League. Relatively easy. I thought it was going to be a tougher fight, and honestly, I could have seen ourselves going out. PSG, Barcelona, us, and Inter Milan all through to the next round. Champions League semifinal, Real Sociedad versus Barcelona, Inter Milan versus PSG. Let's go ahead and jump into here. First leg. Our team is a little, I don't know if that's happy. I don't know what kind of face that is for most of our team or the morale, but a 2-1 loss. Lamine Yamal brace in between a Bryas Mendes goal. We go into the second leg down 2-1 on aggregate. Second leg here against Barcelona. Can we get the job done? And the answer is yes. A 2-1 win, 3-3 on aggregate, 5-3 on penalties. Alexis Vega, Sucic, Krejci, O'Reilly, Oyarzabal all scoring the penalty. Pedro Porto missing his. And we go a perfect 5-for-5. O'Reilly in his 69th minute actually pushed it to extra time, which then pushed it to all the way penalties, of course. We are in the final of the Champions League in our third season of this rebuild. We will be taking on Inter Milan in the Champions League final. The home of England hosting the Italians and the Spanish. Inter Milan, a.k.a. Lombardia FC, taking on not AC Milan. This is not the AC Milan rebuild. Taking on Real Sociedad. Alisson Becker is in the net for Inter Milan. That's an interesting signing for them. It's Real Sociedad versus Inter Milan here at Wembley. Two great sides. One of them looking for their first win in Champions League history. The other one looking at another Champions League trophy to their cabinet. See who comes out on top. It's Inter versus Real Sociedad. Fran Garcia, Inter, Sergio Gomez. Gomez into Mendes. Mendes into Oyarzabal. Oyarzabal loses the ball. DeMarco, Lautaro Martinez into Barella, and Barella, great save by Romero out for a corner. Bastoni, Barella into DeMarco into Antonio Silva, Lautaro Martinez, he slots it away, and Inter Milan take the lead. They strike first. O'Reilly, Bryas Mendes back to O'Reilly, and O'Reilly with the strike, but Alisson palms it away. Corner comes in. It's not properly dealt with. Krejci straight to Alisson. Lautaro Martinez. Ollie Watkins to make it 2. It is 2. Fran Garcia trying to get one back right before the break here. Sergio Gomez. Oyarzabal side netting. Think possibly offside as well there. Who knows? But halftime down 2-0. Inter Milan are looking like they're going to go ahead and win the Champions League. Ollie Watkins makes it 3-0. Inter Milan are going to win the Champions League. We will fail at the final hurdle. O'Reilly. Oyarzabal. We get one back. Don't call it a comeback. 3-1. What are you celebrating for? Let's go. Fertesi gets sent off. It's not going to mean too much. We're in the 89th minute here. But he will, he's going to miss out on the celebrations on the pitch for a couple of moments. He'll obviously be there for the trophy lift. There's a sliding tackle, but if we can get the ball into the box now, score here, get the ball off kickoff, we have a chance. We don't, but we do. Can we get the goal? No. Second ball by someone? No. We are going to go ahead and lose the Champions League here to Inter Milan, but this is a good enough win. This is honestly not a bad rebuild. This is actually a great rebuild here as we quickly skip that. We should jump straight into a trophy parade, and for one reason and one reason only, if I'm not mistaken here, it is the trophy parade, because before this, we went ahead and won the league. We are your champions of England. What the hell? We are your champions of Spain. We win La Liga. Did we win the Copa del Rey as well? Is that the second trophy? So we win the double. So a chance to do the treble there was there on the cards. We just failed at the final hurdle. But For the first time since the 1980s, we have won the top division, so that is a good enough rebuild for this Real Sociedad squad. We become Champions League runners-up for the first time ever in our history as well here at Real Sociedad. What a rebuild it was. It felt like it went very short, but it actually ended up being quite a long recording here. But we are your champions of Spain, champions of the Copa del Rey. We fell out on Europe on the final hurdle, but it is what it is. I will see y'all on Wednesday for the next video. Until then, leave a like, subscribe, and peace out.